here we are.
You guys want to get philosophical? I don't know if I should just present what my opinion is and my bias in terms of you're caring about eating a thing that has feelings or something like that, right? Do you eat the mussel and the oyster, or do you have insects? Because I would say that that having a brain means that's more ethically taboo than something that's just like a filter in the ocean. Thoughts, questions, concerns. By the way, I eat meat, but just curious.
Well, I think more than oysters, if you look at mammals and livestock, then we're putting a comparison with like brains and brains. And a greater neurological system, more receptors to pain. And I also am an omnivore. I mean, I'm a chef. I almost have to eat everything, and my curiosity demands that I do. But I've lowered my meat intake drastically since I've started my work with Insect Protein. We all have to make certain decisions in our life about where we find the threshold. And when people see a packaged good in their grocery in some like styrofoam container, and it's like what they associate as their delicious steak, but not process and think about the whole cattle and the whole process of what their life was prior to it ending up in that form. There's a lot of consideration there. I put great respect into where our food comes from, a great value in that as well. And so while I still do eat everything, I try to be as responsible as I can and really limit the amount of red meat that I personally eat.
Yeah, I eat everything as well. I've had this conversation with vegan friends where I'm like, well, can't you eat oyster? Like, it doesn't have a nervous system. It's not like if your issue is like suffering or whatever. And then related, when I talk with the many like 350 different scientists or whatever that I've had on the show, insect studies, very easy to get clearance from. You can pull wings off. You can like do kind of whatever you want. Not so much with critters and mammals and such. But it's I don't know. Just an interesting thought.
Darwin wrote that all animal life kills, and people that are worried about killing life. And I have my good friend Dr. Annette Muckerhide, Sister of Charity, made a comment once. She's life is life is life. Every time you shower, you're killing millions of bacteria. Your belly button has around what is they I think what the numbers like 1,800 different species of bacteria live in the human navel. And 1,100 of them are new to science. I'm taking this quote from a professor at the University of North Carolina. He says, like the rainforest in there. And every time you shower,
belly button?
In the belly button. And
that's why I don't touch it. I just let it be. I don't look in there. I don't think about it. I don't wash it.
When people ask you why you're in the shower so long, you got no excuse, Shane.
And you got about 600 to 800 species of bacteria living in the crook of your arm and your elbow, where it bends. So if you shower today, you kill life. You brush your teeth today, you killed life. And now it's not a high, the higher grouping of life as we're talking about with a central nervous system, but we do kill. We kill all the time.
I'm 1,000% in agreement with you. I was just kind of curious what your thoughts were on that. If you've been, I imagine you'd been asked before.
Of course, we're all drawing our lines in arbitrary ways, right, in the sand.
Right.
And in the case of bivalves, like any mollusk does have a nervous system. So if you go by just having nerve cells and a system, whether or not there's a central nervous system with a compartmentalized brain, is that a line you draw? If you see My Octopus Teacher, the documentary, do you then discontinue eating octopuses because you see how amazing they are at problem solving?
I had just become fond of grilled octopus right before seeing that documentary. I'm like, that kind of soured the experience. But yeah, all of these various things, for better or worse, or whether they actually are a true reflection of reality or what's ethical or what that even means, they do influence what we take in and our perception of food and everything else.
You know what? One thing that I had to sort of come to grips with is that I probably collected more cicada, Gene, you're going to have to excuse me because I just say Brood X because it's so much cooler to say than Brood 10.
Yeah.
So excuse me. I've
Sorry, what's that word mean?
Well, I say Brood X, and technically it's Brood 10. But I've been saying Brood X just all over the place. But I've probably collected more Brood X than anyone in the world. And I've also collected them. I've probably collected hundreds, over 100,000 of them, and it's serious because I as I'm collecting them, I mean they're so beautiful. I have so much respect for how amazing, magical, and beautiful they are, and so there has to be a great purpose. There has to be conviction and belief in what I do in order for me to collect hundreds of thousands of these incredible creatures. And so that there was, I had to come to terms with myself and believe in my mission and my work and celebrate that the world has collectively never spoken more about eating insects than right now at this very present moment. And it's really to kind of tackle larger issues that we have, not today, but really for future generations. And what kind of problems are we going to leave for them? What kind of solutions will we leave for them? And I think that insects will ultimately unlock a big answer to where we get our food. And the fact that we were able to be a part of the global zeitgeist for like months. I would see articles of my friends and colleagues in newspapers and on the TV like every day. And it's like, wow, we are not just pushing the needle right now on the interest in entomology, in conservation, in the life of insects, and on edible insects. We have smashed that needle like never before, and is just fascinating. And so it's like, yes, I believe in my work. And so that's what allowed me to capture and essentially euthanize so many of these incredible cicadas.